Today, we are going on a journey. We're going to unravel the incredible, story-filled world of Indian embroidered textiles. We'll travel from the mountains of Kashmir to the plains of Punjab, exploring how different regions developed their own completely unique language, all with just a needle and thread.
I mean, just look at this. It really makes you wonder, right? How can something as simple as a needle and thread tell the story of a culture, a region, and its people? Well, in India, every single stitch is like a word, and every pattern, that's a whole chapter in an ancient living book.
To really understand these textiles, we have to go back in time. See, embroidery in India isn't just some craft. It's a truly ancient art form. Think of it as a thread of creativity, passed down through countless generations, connecting today all the way back to a very distant past.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, just so we're all on the same page. At its core, embroidery is the art of decorating fabric with a needle. But as we're about to see, that one simple idea just blossoms into this incredible diversity of styles and techniques all across the Indian subcontinent.
And the history here is just astounding. We're talking about roots that reach all the way back to the Indus Valley civilization. Archaeologists have found actual tools that confirm this craft was being practiced thousands of years ago. Fast forward and you've got travelers like Marco Polo just marveling at the textiles he saw in Indian kingdoms. This isn't just an old art form, it's a foundational one. So our journey is going to begin up in the north. It's home to two stunningly different yet equally beautiful styles. Kashida, born in the valleys of Kashmir, and Fulkari, from the plains of Punjab. So on the one hand, you have Kashida. It's an art form inspired by the breathtaking nature of Kashmir, and, interestingly enough, it was often practiced by men. On the other hand, you have Fulkari, which literally means flower work, and this craft is deeply, deeply woven into the cultural fabric of Punjabi women's lives.
So let's take a closer look at Kashida. When you see these patterns, you can almost feel the cool air of the Kashmir Valley. The embroidery is a direct reflection of its surroundings. It's like a literal translation of nature onto fabric.
The sheer variety here is just incredible. Artisans use wool, silk, and cotton threads to create these motifs pulled directly from the region's plants and animals. We're talking kingfishers, maple leaves, all kinds of flowers. And the techniques themselves can range from the incredibly fine Sozi needlework to the much quicker Ari hookwork. Now, let's journey south to Punjab. Here, Fulkari is way more than just decoration. It's really a cornerstone of the culture. It's an essential part of a woman's life from her marriage until her death. It's an art form with immense social significance. The technique here is fascinating. The embroidery is done with a pretty simple darning stitch, but it's worked from the back of this coarse, hand-woven cloth, and doing it that way creates these bold, geometric patterns on the front. And you know, I love this little detail, the Nezar booty. It's a deliberately imperfect stitch, a single offbeat motif that's meant to ward off the evil eye. This slide shows the two main styles perfectly. On the left is Fulkari, with its more spread-out embroidery for everyday wear. But on the right, that's a bog, which means garden, and you can see why. The embroidery is so dense that the base fabric is completely covered, creating a literal garden of thread for only the most special occasions.
Okay, leaving the vibrant colors of the north, we're now going to travel to the heart of India, to Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh, to explore the elegant and subtle world of chikankari.
Chikankari is like a whisper in thread. It's famous for its grace and its delicacy. Traditionally done with white thread on fine, white cotton fabric, kind of like muslin. It really is the absolute epitome of understated elegance. The beauty of chikankari is its complexity, which is kind of hidden inside its simplicity. It's believed to have been popularized by a Mughal empress. And get this, its artisans have mastered over 30 different stitches. These are grouped into flat stitches, raised stitches for texture, and the incredible jali, which are these net-like patterns created by carefully pulling threads apart. And this is the signature technique of chikankari, shadow work. On the left, you're looking at the back of the fabric, where they do this crisscrossing herringbone stitch. On the right, you see the stunning effect on the front, this delicate shadow of the motif, perfectly outlined. It's just pure magic. Our final stop is taking us to eastern India, to West Bengal. Here, we're going to discover Kanta, an embroidery born from thrift, from resourcefulness, and from a really powerful desire to tell stories. You see, Kanta began as a beautifully practical art.
women would repurpose old, worn-out saris, layering them together and quilting them with simple stitches. And in the process, they would transform something that was basically discarded into a beautiful textile just filled with stories and meaning.
The technique is beautifully simple. At its heart is just the humble running stitch. You can see it here. But this one simple stitch is used to create incredibly complex scenes from folklore, religion, and daily life. Artisans would even pull colorful threads from the borders of old saris to use for the embroidery. It's pretty much the ultimate form of creative recycling. So we've journeyed all the way from the north to the east, and we've seen 4 completely unique expressions of needlework. Now, let's bring it all together. All right, here's a quick recap. We saw Kashida's reflection of nature up in Kashmir, then Fulkari's vibrant geometry in Punjab. We had the delicate shadow work of chikankari in Uttar Pradesh, and finally, the storytelling stitches of Kanta and West Bengal. Each style is truly a world unto itself.
And it's so important to remember, these aren't just historical artifacts, they are living, breathing art forms. Artisans today are still practicing these crafts, adapting them for contemporary markets while keeping the soul of the tradition alive. You can see it right here in this modern Kantha piece.
So this leaves us with a final thought. The next time you pick up a piece of clothing, take a closer look. What stories might be woven into its threads? What history does it carry? Because as we've just seen, sometimes the most profound stories are told not with a pen, but with a needle.